The It's About Me player I had. Hi, I am a DM that has been playing for over 3 years. This is a small rant slash small stories about the many challenges me and my players were put through by our problem player. We shall call the problem player May. The major players are Rogue, Sorcerer, and Bard. Problem player was a fighter. So the campaign had been going on for some time. The other players had already finished a small arc involving an insane druid when a sorcerer said they had a friend who would love to join. I asked them to tell their friend to message me so I can see what they want to play and such. May messages me and is very polite and nice and wants to join in as a noble fighter, and as such has chosen to play as a samurai fighter, and would not listen to me when I said the subclass had no impact on how her character should act. In the business, we call this foreshadowing. In retrospect, I should have seen the red flags when May asked for their own custom-made class, which involved shouting at the enemy phrases that would trigger effects. And I quote, shouting, "I shall slay you," for quadruple damage on the next attack. The idea was immediately shot down, however the demands would not end. May asked for a custom background, custom race, and custom magic items. I made their race and background because she desperately wanted to be a cannibalistic monster that used to be an executioner, because she had to kill 1,000 people to get back to the Feywild. More on that later. Now, in the very first session this character was introduced, she made a flower crown while the other characters were shopping. When the sorcerer refused to wear it, May responded by punching sorcerer in the face. Funnily enough, the sorcerer had more strength than the fighter and retaliated swiftly. Now we all know this is not how a group of PCs should act, however, we granted her leeway because she was very new. May messaged me a couple days after the session with her explanation as to why her character reacted with violence to the flower crown incident, something she had made up after the fact, and asked if she could narrate her 2-page flashback at the start of the next session, or if I could do it. There was definitely salt when I pointed out the fact that it would serve no purpose except to make the other player feel bad, considering none of the other PCs would see this flashback. For many sessions after this, a couple of patterns started to emerge, such as stating, "I'm going to go ham" every time they used action surge, lying about how many times they had used action surge, forgetting to subtract damage, forgetting how many times the special ability for samurai was used, constantly claiming to be the bravest and the tank of the group but running away during a fight, and complain and nag at the bard while demanding they ran after her in order to heal, going so far as to refer to the bard as a medic, as well as this super cringy habit of saying "howdy partner" to any and all NPCs they met. This is not including doing rude gestures in real life to me, then claiming them to be from her home world and good things when someone commented on it. She would also speak German when using deep speech, even to me, which was frustrating considering the DM should know all languages. It seemed to me that she had a need to make the session about herself, so therefore I switched the NPCs around to not be very interested in her, which prompted her to create her kill list, where she wrote down the names of every NPC she planned to kill once she felt she had leveled up enough if they slightly pissed her off. Now keep in mind, she acted like a spoiled princess and would sass every character she met. This list included, but was not limited to, the only priest in town they stayed in for daring to question her faith, the leader of a massive pirate organization and their main mission giver, no idea why, an NPC that had a deal with another player to heal their wings, which was a massive deal to said player. They were interested in what race she was. Other player characters, mainly the bard for some reason, didn't heal good enough, I guess. An entire village of lizard folk. They did not worship her upon seeing her. An NPC from another character backstory for beating her in a carnival game. Now at this point, I'm sure you are wondering why we didn't throw her out, and seeing all this listed up, I'm wondering so myself. But it doesn't stop there. May made it her personal mission to make the bard as obsolete as possible. going as far as trying to take the skilled and skill expert feat to be as good in the same skills, trying to multi-class into paladin in order to remove the need for the healing the bard provided, and even trying to learn how to play music. The bitterness went as so far to make it a mission that was mentioned out of character that she wanted to talk with me to figure out a way to permanently curse the bard, which when I shot it down was changed to make the bard believe I cursed him. Now there's something I didn't know where to mention, so I shall mention it here. May wrote her character's backstory, and oh sweet Bahamut, it was a backstory. So May's character was from the Feywild, and had been banished from there by the Queen of the Summer Court for her crimes against the Feywild. I'll give you a retelling I have in my head. May was born in a small village, and after some time was attacked by someone in the Feywild. So far so good. Now, this person was then completely destroyed by Kitsune. She never asked if I allowed those in the Feywild. The Kitsune left and May dies, but is then revived when her wife puts her heart and entire blood vein system inside of May's body. This transfusion was done by a goddess, also demanded custom made by the way, and would make sure May lived forever. This would lead May going to the Kitsunes, becoming everyone's favorite ever, gaining levels, I suppose, and then conquering a massive area of the Feywild. This was very strange, as the player kept insisting her character was from a small and unknown cult that at the time was big enough that the Summer Court and its queen personally banished May to the material plane instead of just killing her. This backstory never reached to the banishment point, but over 6 chapters was planned. The player wrote all of this despite me saying to them very clearly that backstories are for when your character was level 0 to level 3, and the feats and conquests in the backstory alone would have been impressive for a level 14 character to pull off, but the players were all level 6. Now, outside of the game, May was a bit of a snake, with being super sweet next to me while harassing the bard every time she drove him home. This also came with love bombing the group by buying us snacks, dice, and drinks. So there was a lot of conflict. Eventually, one of my players reached out to her and asked if she was willing to change, because as she was playing now, it was not compatible. Her response was saying that she was uninvited by that specific player and leave. A final thing I'd like to mention was that she had a terrible habit of metagaming. In the sense, she would look up the monsters I described with the excuse she wanted to see what they looked like, as well as stating what she wanted her fellow players to do out of character, going so far as to demand bardic inspiration in order to wrestle an NPC mentioned earlier. Now, she is nothing but a memory to us. She cut all contact with Sorcerer and probably blocked us. I haven't bothered to check. TLDR, entitled player gets every accommodation from DM and fellow players, but just keeps demanding more and more while gaslighting and playing the victim. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it and you want to see more, you can click that subscribe button to see more videos like this when I upload them. Sorry this was a bit on the shorter side. I've been really caught up with work and like family planning stuff, and also Canada's on fire right now, and that's just stressful overall. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is the end of the video.